You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm Frank Morano, and I'm awfully excited because we have two of my favorite political experts to battle out some of the stories that you're probably battling out around the workplace or around your home or getting ready to do partisan battle around the Thanksgiving table on Thursday. On the left, we have Scott Levenson. He's the president of the Advance Group. And on the right, we have conservative attorney and former candidate for New York City public advocate Manny Alicandro. Gentlemen, I want to begin with this ruling yesterday out of Washington. The former White House counsel, Don McGahn, must comply with a congressional subpoena. Now, this could have, the White House is following this. They're fighting this. They say they're going to appeal, but this could have a broader effect because there are a whole bunch of witnesses that have been subpoenaed by Congress that may have to testify now. Manny, the judge in this case says presidents aren't kings. What was your opinion on a legal basis and a political basis?
Look, I understand the ruling, but I have issues with it, right? I have issues with it with regard to attorney-client privilege, means counsel to the president. So we can't set up a precedent here where we want to, for political purposes, get to the bottom so we think of what's going on, but we violate that privilege. My understanding now, it's being appealed and it's going to the Supreme Court. And I think the Supreme Court will rule in favor of the president.
Well, could he still claim executive privilege or attorney-client privilege once he testifies?
I think he could. I think he could try his hardest to block his testimony.
But Frank, I'm a little curious. Aren't we like beyond some of the issues here? It feels like the whole quid pro quo morass has become a deflection for us when we all agree on the facts that the president asked a foreign government to investigate a political opponent.
Well, so I think the broader issue.
But hold on.
And so I don't. It seems to me. I mean, maybe
where
I'm wrong.
Where are we on? Don't assume that there's a quid pro quo. We don't even know about that.
I'm suggesting that quid pro quo is a deflection, Manny. I'm suggesting you don't need the quid pro quo to know what the facts that are already on the public record, which are everybody knows the president asked for Joe Biden to investigate. The president admitted that he asked the government to investigate Joe Biden. So it seems to me that...
So what? He did do that.
So you're asking a foreign government to investigate a personal political opponent.
There's the quid. Where's the quo? Where's the quo?
Again, Manny, you keep getting stuck on the quid pro quo. I'm suggesting put quid pro quo over here.
Okay.
I'm saying all you need is I'm asking a foreign government for my personal political benefit. Why isn't that a violation of abuse of power?
So you're saying we don't even need testimony then of Don McGahn?
No, I didn't say.
I'm saying. Well, gentlemen, let me ask you both. Let's say this is bigger than McGahn, because this began with they wanted to ask him questions about what he was telling Mueller and his prosecutors. You have John Bolton. You have a number of other folks that I'm sure Congress would like to testify that aren't going willingly. This could have all sorts of repercussions, even for the Senate trial, where the Senate Republicans may want to subpoena people that don't want to necessarily testify. What does this mean for the role of the presidency and their interactions with Congress going forward?
I mean, it certainly means that no one is above the law. And when you're subpoenaed by Congress, you have to comply with the subpoena. If it's a lawful subpoena, and I think Manny raises there are confidential positions and they have to be treated as such. But everyone who works for the White House can't be a confidential position.
All right, so Alan Dershowitz, who's quite a legal scholar, 3 decades at Harvard Law School, he said, the judge is wrong here. He said presidents not only are kings, they're more powerful than kings. This is what Alan Dershowitz said on Fox News.
Went out of her way to say, I am not ruling on the issues of privilege. All I'm saying is he has to show up. He used that word, and then she went nuts talking about how the president's not the king. Of course the president's not the king. The president's far more powerful than the king. The president has the power that kings have never had. He's very, very powerful office.
Well, it sounds like Rick Perry almost there. Is the president more powerful than the king?
He's the chosen one.
He is the chosen one.
I mean, look,
we disagree with that, right?
I don't know about that. Do you really? I mean,
I have to beg issue with the chosen one language.
He might be like one of the selective few.
Oh, that whole road makes me cringe.
But I mean, look, at the end of the day, we need to maintain. And I was on a show a couple weeks ago, and I talked about Rudy Giuliani. and Kathleen Rice filing a grievance against Rudy Giuliani. We have to maintain the sanctity not only of the laws in this country in terms of the Constitution, but of attorney-client privilege. And I feel like we're totally bastardizing that to try to get, for political purposes, we're trying to erode that relationship. If I'm counsel to the president, I'm counsel to the president. Period.
Frankly, it doesn't take a violation of attorney-client privilege to convict this
That's
president.
true.
He's doing a pretty good job
Gentlemen,
on himself.
That's not the point.
One
That's not the
final
point.
question I want you to weigh in on. That's the question of the firing of Naval Secretary Richard Spencer. The Naval Secretary came out yesterday. He spoke to NBC News and said, I wasn't resigned. I didn't resign. I was fired. And he's standing by his decisions, not at all happy with how the president is spinning this. This was former Naval Secretary Richard Spencer yesterday.
The ramifications of intervening in that review process.
What message does that send to the troops?
Well, what message does it send?
That you can get away with things. We have to have good order and discipline. It's the backbone of what we do.
President Trump said he stopped the Navy from taking away the Trident pin, which identifies Gallagher as a Navy SEAL, in order to stand up for warriors and the decisions they make on the battlefield.
Well, they wanted to take his pin away, and I said, no, you're not going to take it away. He was a great fighter, and we're going to protect our war fighters.
I don't think he really understands the full definition of a warfighter. A warfighter is a profession of arms, and a profession of arms has standards that they have to be held to, and they hold themselves to.
Secretary Spencer sounds awfully ticked off there. Scott, what do you think of the president's decision to fire him?
Wait, the president is coming out and defending a war criminal. That's what's going on
someone
here.
That was
I'm sorry,
acquitted of some very serious charges.
Someone that took a shot of a wounded prisoner that he summarily assassinated was convicted, and the Navy secretary suggested consequences for his crimes. And the president is intervening in defense of a war criminal. How do you defend
Manny,
that?
we'll let you do the defending since you're an attorney. 10 seconds.
Look, believe it or not, I have issues with this. I have issues because the president needs to work with the military and respect the military rule. Military has made their decision, and I think the president made a mistake here.
So you agree with me?
I agree with you.
Right.
Surprisingly, I agree with you.
On that harmonious,
it's festive. It's Thanksgiving.
Gentlemen, on that harmonious holiday
Don't support war criminals.
Speaking of war criminals, Kevin McCullough joins us next. He'll break down his column that was tweeted by the president. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV.